The Young and the Restless spoilers. Genoa City had always been a place where ambition and family loyalty collided, and for Kyle Abbott, those collisions had reached a breaking point. His time working under Victor Newman had been enlightening but also tumultuous, forcing him to confront the consequences of his decisions. Kyle's realization that he was treading a dangerous path came not a moment too soon, and with it, the desire to reclaim his place in the Abbott family and Jabot. But this decision was not without complications, demands, and compromises. Kyle's realization. Kyle had initially joined forces with Victor to carve out a legacy for himself, separate from his father's shadow. The allure of working with a titan like Victor had been too tempting to resist. However, the deeper he delved into Newman Enterprises' world, the more he realized the cost of his ambition. Victor's methods, though effective, were often ruthless and left little room for individuality. Kyle found himself questioning not only his role but also his identity. Was he becoming someone he didn't want to be? One evening, as he reflected on the mounting tensions within his family and the strain on his marriage to Summer, Kyle made a decision. It was time to leave Newman Enterprises and return to Jabot. "I've made mistakes," Kyle admitted to himself, "but it's not too late to fix them." A meeting with Jack and Diane determined to take control of his future. Kyle arranged a meeting with his parents, Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins. The Abbott mansion, a symbol of the family's legacy, became the setting for a conversation that would shape their future. Jack and Diane arrived, both visibly curious, yet cautious. Jack, ever the protective father, was wary of Kyle's sudden change of heart, while Diane remained hopeful that the family could reconcile. "Dad, Mom," Kyle began, his tone earnest, "I need to talk to you about my future, and about Jabot." Jack leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. "What's on your mind, son?" Kyle took a deep breath. "I've realized that working with Victor was a mistake. His way of doing things, it's not who I am. I need to come back to Jabot, to our family's company. But I don't just want to come back as an employee. I want to lead. I want the CEO position." Jack and Diane exchanged a glance. The weight of Kyle's request hung heavily in the room. Jack's perspective. For Jack, Kyle's request was both a source of pride and concern. He admired his son's ambition and willingness to admit his mistakes, but he also knew that Kyle lacked the experience and maturity to fully shoulder the responsibilities of a CEO. "Kyle," Jack said carefully, "I'm glad you're realizing the importance of family and Jabot. But leading a company isn't just about ambition. It's about wisdom, patience, and experience. You're not ready for that yet." Kyle's jaw tightened. "Dad, I've been around Jabot my whole life. I know the company, and I know what it needs. I'm not asking for a handout, I'm asking for a chance." Jack sighed, his protective instincts clashing with his desire to support his son. "I'm not saying no, Kyle, but if you want to lead, you need guidance. Let me be your advisor. Together, we can ensure Jabot thrives." Kyle's conditions. Kyle, however, was determined to assert his independence. "I'm not looking for a babysitter, Dad. If I'm going to be CEO, I need to make decisions without interference. I need to know that my ideas will be respected." Diane, sensing the tension, interjected. "Jack, maybe Kyle needs to prove himself. Give him the space to lead, but be there if he asks for help." Jack hesitated, torn between his protective nature and his desire to see Kyle succeed. "Fine," he said after a long pause. "You can have the CEO title, but there are conditions. You'll consult me on major decisions, and we'll review your progress after a trial period. If it works, the role is yours permanently. If it doesn't, we'll reassess." Kyle considered Jack's proposal, recognizing it as a compromise. "Deal," he said finally. "But let me make one thing clear. I'm not coming back to be anyone's puppet." A family on the brink of unity. The meeting ended with a tentative agreement, but the road ahead was far from smooth. Kyle and Jack both had strong personalities, and their differing visions for Jabot had the potential to create further conflict. Yet, there was also hope. Both men were committed to finding common ground, knowing that their shared love for the family and the company could guide them. Diane, ever the mediator, offered a final piece of advice. "You're both stubborn, but you're also both brilliant. If you can find a way to work together, there's nothing the Abbott family can't accomplish." The bigger picture. Kyle's decision to leave Newman Enterprises and return to Jabot wasn't just about his career. It was about reclaiming his identity and repairing the relationships that mattered most. The strained dynamics between Jack and Kyle were a reflection of the broader challenges faced by the Abbott family. Their ability to navigate these challenges would determine not only their personal happiness, but also the future of Jabot. As Jack and Kyle embarked on this new chapter, the stakes were higher than ever. Would they overcome their differences and build a stronger family legacy? Or would their ambitions and egos tear them apart? The path forward. For now, the Abbott family stood at a crossroads. The next few months would test their resolve, their trust, and their ability to grow together. But one thing was certain: the Abbott family's strength lay in its unity, and if Jack and Kyle could overcome their differences, there was no limit to what they could achieve. The future of Jabot and the Abbott family hung in the balance.